Hello, and thank you for joining us for our CRA webinar on updating your member record in the CRA Member Portal. My name is Yvette Tavares. I'm the Membership Director for the Connecticut Restaurant Association. And today I'm going to go over how to access the member portal and different ways that you'll want to modify your member record, also the reasons why you want to keep your account updated in our member portal. So to start with, we're going to always go to our CRA homepage, which is ctrestaurant.org. From here, you're just going to put your mouse over the member section and you're going to see member portal. If you just click on that, that's going to take you into the login. Now, your login information you should have gotten when you joined, but typically we set that as the email address that you used when you set up your membership, as well as the last 4 digits of your phone number. If you're not sure what that information is for your login, you can just click right here and it's going to send you to the password, the request password reset email. From there, you can just enter your email and it will send you the password reset. If your email is not in our database, you're going to get an error message. If that's the case, you may not be in our database yet. And you'll just need to send us an email at info@ctrestaurant.org so we can get you set up. Typically, this is going to be the email, the primary contact on your account. So usually that's the person who set up your membership. So if we go back here, I'm just going to sign in as a CRA and show you what it looks like inside the member portal. When you click on login, it does take a couple seconds. You'll feel like maybe it's not going through and then it goes blank. Just hang on just a second. If your login information is correct, it will eventually go through. So this is the members only landing page. Going to go quickly over some of the information here, and then we're going to dive into how to actually modify some of the parts of your member record. You're going to see right at the top, after members only, you're going to see your restaurant or business name right here where it says Connecticut Restaurant Association. Below that, you're going to see any events that you may be registered. At this time of the year, we don't have a whole lot of events set up, so you may not see anything here. But if you scroll down and click here for all events, that's going to take you to our event calendar. You're typically going to see a lot of ServSafe classes, so this is also a great place to go if you want to see what ServSafe classes are available. But if we have other events, you're going to see them there as well. And to the right, you're going to see different options. The change username password function is going to bring you to that same screen if you needed to reset your password, or maybe there's somebody else on your account that you need to reset a password for. You can submit that there. Update your contact information is where we're going to spend most of our time today, so I'm going to come back to that in just a moment. Upload media is a function that we're not really using right now. That's for enhanced listings only, but that would allow you to upload logos or other digital assets to your member record. Staying informed is another function that we will be adding down the road, where you can opt in and out to receive different communications from us. Right now, you won't find anything there, so stay tuned. And then the next option here is to pay your bill. So this is one of the areas where you may come back to pretty regularly. Whenever it's annual invoicing, that's a great time to log into your member portal, but also to update some of the information that we're going to go over today. So if you click on pay your bills, you're going to see any outstanding invoices that you have on your account, as well as if you have paid invoices, you're going to be able to access those invoices here. So you can see I have a sample invoice in our CRA member portal. So if you have an outstanding invoice, you're going to see it. You're going to be able to click on it. View will allow you to see the invoice. You can actually print this. So if this were, your membership dues and you wanted to print it and mail your invoice, you can do that here. Or you can actually scroll down and you'll see the option to pay that invoice. So this is really great for annual invoicing, or maybe when we have an event coming up and you've got a sponsorship or tickets that you need to pay for, you can find that here. And as I mentioned, if you have paid invoices, you can find, it's typically at the bottom of the screen, you can find any paid invoices. You may need a copy of that paid invoice for your records. You can access them and save or print them there. So that's going to be your online bill pay area. The next function on the right here, you see submit an event. Again, this is a section that we're going to be adding soon, not quite functioning just yet, but this allows you to submit any events that your restaurant or your business might have coming up, and that event will appear on our event calendar. So that's something we're working to bring to you, just an added benefit of membership. I'm just going to go back to the members only homepage. So this is just so you can see the view for when you land on the portal. This is the view that you see. So I want to spend some time now on the update your contact information section. This is going to be the most important section. And again, I do suggest that you update this regularly, whether you have changes with your business or you have staff turnover. You just want to keep this up to date. So when you click on the update your contact information, there's two areas that you can work on. One is going to be editing your profile. So that's going to be your business profile or your restaurant profile. And then below that, you have the option to edit contacts within your business. I'm going to come back to the editing contacts at the end. And I want to start with editing your profile because this is where you want to spend a good amount of time updating your information. So if you click on edit your profile, you're going to see all of the basic information about your restaurant or your business. This should be pretty accurate because this would be the information that you submitted when you joined. But there could be information that was missed, or maybe your business has changed some information or changed an address. So you can find that all here. So you just want to scroll through to make sure that your business name is correct, your address is correct. Definitely enter your website information down here at the bottom. There are some parts of our site that allow you to click through to a live URL. So it's a good idea to have that there if you can. As for an email, that would be an email address that would be the general email for your business. This would not be a personal email. Personal emails will go in that section we're going to talk about in just a moment, where you attach to a person. So this would just be if you have a very generic info@ email or just a generic email that you use for your business. On the side here, you're going to see more options and more selections here, additional addresses, additional phones, and additional email addresses. Additional addresses is one that you may want to take a look at because billing address is one that we use often. A lot of times you may have any of your invoicing go to a billing address and not to your actually restaurant or business address. So if you wanted to add a business address, you would just select billing address and then enter all the information here. You can do the same with additional phones or additional email addresses. We typically don't see that too much here in this section. If you wanted to add additional phones or emails for contact people, you're going to do that when you add profiles. But if you did have additional phone numbers or emails, you can add that here as needed. One area where you want to spend a good amount of time is on the directory listing. And so I want to dive into this a bit here. The directory listing is what allows you to appear in our member directory on our website. You have to have a category in order to appear in our directory. When we onboard you, when you join, we select a category for you. So you all should be appearing in our member directory, but there are times where maybe we might have missed you or maybe selected the incorrect category. So you really want to make sure that this is correct. And the reason why is, if somebody is on our website and they're trying to find our members or businesses, they will go to our directory and select member directory, and that actually takes you to our member directory or our business directory. And so you can see here, you can search by keyword or by category, which you can pull down, or you can select any of these options down here. So if you're not in a category on this screen, you're not going to appear when members try to search you here. So we're going to come back to the screen in just a moment, but I just wanted to make that very clear so you know that's why it's so important to have a category listed. Before I dive in, I want to just explain that there are two different types of memberships, and this webinar that we're doing today will apply to both types of memberships as far as updating your member record. We have our restaurant membership, which would include restaurants, restaurant groups, food service locations, and caterers. We also have allied members, so this would be businesses that provide a product or service to restaurant or food service businesses. So that may be things like insurance companies or POS providers or your food or liquor vendors. The CRA appears in our directory looks more like what an allied member would look like. You can see that we have two category listings here. So we have legislative affairs, and we have trade association. Most of you are going to have only one category, and again, you want to have at least one because that's what allows you to appear in the directory. But it's a good idea if you do fall into multiple categories to select additional categories, and I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. Now you can see for our categories for the CRA, trade association is checked over here in this blue check mark. That's because it's the primary listing. So you can only have one primary listing, but you want to make sure to select one of those. So for restaurant members, your primary listing is always going to be restaurant. But if you're an allied member, let's say you provide credit card services, so you provide merchant services, but you also have a POS system within your organization, you may select merchant services as your primary listing because that's the main business that you do. But you may want to select those multiple categories so when people are searching you on the directory screen, let me switch there just a second, they can find you under those multiple categories. Now from this screen, once you've selected your categories, you want to make sure to add the description, the short description, and keywords. Now we use the CRA page really just for training. So if this were a member, I would suggest that this information get filled in. The reason why you want to fill in your descriptions and your keywords is that also helps people to find you in our business directory. That directory also communicates with search engines. So if somebody's Googling a business or a restaurant using certain keywords, they're more likely to find you through our business directory if you have this information updated. And that's why it's so important to make sure that you've got updated information here. So you definitely want to fill in your description, your short description, and then keywords. If you just do keywords, at least that will allow you to appear if somebody is searching under keywords in our directory. But it will pull keywords from your description or your short description. The short description does appear in certain views. So at minimum, it's good to have that short description in there and plenty of keywords. Now, keywords, if you are a restaurant, think about using keywords that people might be searching to find your business. So this might be the type of food that you serve. So maybe you serve pizza, or maybe you're famous for lobster rolls, but it could also be other features that your restaurant provides that people would be searching under, like maybe you do a Sunday brunch or happy hour, things like that. So just think of any keywords that people might be searching to find you. If you're an allied member, that would be the same thing. I used the example before, merchant services. So people might be typing in merchant services or credit card processing or POS provider. So any keywords that you think that would allow people to help to find your business. And you can see for the CRA, we did add a description here under the short description. And again, as I mentioned, that short description, there are certain views where that description will appear. So it's a good idea to have something there, particularly for our allied members, where users are going to be searching you under different keywords and different functionality than they would our restaurant members. Now, if you had no categories here, or you had one category and you wanted to add additional categories, all you need to do is select the add button, and then you can see down below there's the option to select your category. So you can just go ahead and select whatever your category is. I did want to go down to restaurants to show you what that looks like. If you select restaurant, it's actually going to give you the option to do a subcategory. As you can see, these options are a little bit in need of being updated, but if you see one that fits your business, go ahead and select that. Otherwise, as I mentioned, I would actually suggest adding at minimum keywords for your restaurant business and or utilizing a good short or long description. And then once you have that information updated, you're going to just save and keep working to modify the other sections here. So we're going to now click over to social media, and this is where you would add your social media handles. And you can see there's quite a number here. We just add that in there. I want to show you an example of some listings that have done this very well. So from this screen, and remember, you go to our home screen, directory, member directory, and that's how you find our business directory. Oh, give me just a moment here. So if we select a category, whether it's from here or from the pull down, let's say we do want to search for our accounting or tax services. Now you're going to see a list of CRA members, so these would be allied members that are in that accounting category. And you can see them all listed here. Now, one of the things I want to point out, you can see right away, you can see Bloom Shapiro and Cohen Resnick have done a great job of entering more information as well as their social media handles, and you can see that really stands out. So it's a really good idea to put that information in there. If we click on Bloom Shapiro, you can see that they've also added their business description. I believe this is the long description. So you'll see that that information is visible there. And this is where people can actually send a message to the primary contact on the Bloom Shapiro member record. So this is where having a primary contact is so important on your record. Any inquiries that come through our website are going to go to that primary contact. Now, if we go back here, update your preferences. This would also be where you could select affiliations, which we will be adding soon, but this will allow you to opt in or out of receiving certain communications from us. So this may be, to receive our legislative updates, or maybe our event updates, or general e-newsletters. You'll have the ability here to select that. And that's really kind of the overview of how to update your information. As I mentioned, you can, anything that you modify as you go along, you could just select save and keep working. Once you're all done, you would select save and submit. I'm just going to cancel this because I don't want to save anything that I changed here. But if you submit changes, the changes will come to the CRA and we have to approve those in our database. Typically that happens very quickly, but if we don't see the email come in, it may just be a couple hours before we push those changes through. But typically those changes will appear on your account pretty quickly. Now, if we come back to this page, remember, what we just went was edit your profile, and that's going to allow you to edit your primary profile record. Now, if you are a restaurant group, there are some unique differences with restaurant groups. So let's say you're a restaurant group that has 5 locations. We will set you up with a primary member record, and that's where we do all of your sort of primary billing and communications through. If you wanted to have access to each of your restaurants, let us know and we can set those up for you. But typically we're going to set you up with under one primary record. Now I want to go to the other part of this page, which is adding new profiles. So this is where you can add contacts to your member record. Now, as a CRA, we have all of our staff that are attached to our member record. But for most of you, you might have just one contact that is attached to your profile. Some of you may have none, especially if it's you've been a member for a long time and there's just never been a primary contact attached to your record. Please make sure that you do that so that you are receiving our communications and we know who the primary contact is on your account. So what you would do is to add a profile, you would just select add profile, and then it allows you to add people to your record. But you're typically going to have that primary contact, but then you may want to add, let's say you want to add your general managers to your member record because you want to make sure they're receiving communications. Or if you're an allied member, you may have your sales or marketing team that you want to add to make sure that they are under the member record or they're receiving communications. We also have our job board now, which offers free listings to members. And in order to post on that, you have to have a profile in our database. So you might want to add somebody on your account that you want to be able to have access to the job board. They won't have access with a login and a password unless they're in our database. So this is where you would add them. But just to show you each profile, you can see Scott Dolch, our executive director. Each profile will have different things that you can select. So we have Scott, of course, as our executive director, set as our main contact. The next option here is editor. So the editor is allowed to make any changes to your member record. you may have a few people on your staff that you want to select as an editor, so that they can go in and make modifications as needed. So you just want to make sure that if you wanted somebody else on your team to be an editor, that you give them that access. Receives communication is going to be the next one, and this is really important. As I mentioned, you may have different staff or managers or staff at different locations that are not the primary contact on your profile, but you want to make sure that they're receiving communication. So any communication that goes to the primary contact will also go to the other folks that are selected to receive communications. So that's what you would select, receive communication, to make sure that person is receiving communication. If the person is a billing contact, this is also another one that's really great to have in here. You might have to add that contact, but then you want to select them as a billing contact. So when we do any invoicing, we know to address that invoicing or that communication to whomever the billing contact is. You can also select the relation type, which is typically here going to be employee, and then you can enter their title. And again, once you enter any new staff, you can always click Save Relationships, and that's going to save those folks. But let's say you wanted to go in and you want to modify one of your contacts. I'll go to My Contact and select Edit Profile. Now from here, I can also just make sure my contact information is correct, my name, address, work phone, email address. And if I wanted to add additional addresses or additional phones, I could do that here. So maybe I want to add, my cell phone, or maybe I have a remote address that I wanted to add. I can add that here. You wouldn't apply anything for directory listing, but you could do social media or update preferences. And that's where, again, you would either save and keep working or save and submit. I'm just going to close that out so I don't change anything on my account. And that's it as far as the functionality for the member portal. Remember, you access the member portal from the home page under members and then member portal. And from here, you can change your password. You can update all of your contact information. Remember, you can update your contact record, and that's where you want to make sure that you enter your categories and your descriptions with keywords. Add your social media handles and any other information that you want to have appearing on your member record. And you can also add staff and modify their profiles here. You can pay your bills through the member portal. And down the road, you will be able to submit events and select what communications and affiliations that you want to receive from us. And there are many reasons why you want to have your member portal updated, but really kind of one of the biggest things is going to be so that when users are searching our member directory, or even if somebody is Googling, they're going to find you in our directory because they're going to be able to type in keywords, or they're going to be able to select a category and find you. And again, you can see those ones that really stand out because they've added more information to their member record. So that's it for today on editing your member profile. If you have any questions on how to access the profile or accessing your login or adding someone to your account, also for restaurant groups that have multiple locations where it can be a little bit confusing, please let us know. We're happy to walk this through with you. You can always reach us by email at info@ctrestaurant.org or call us at our main phone number, which is 860-278-8008, and you can select the option for membership. So that's going to be it for today, and I appreciate you listening in and keeping your CRA member portal updated. Any questions, please let us know, and we appreciate your support.